Wow, something really big just happened under the ocean. On Wednesday, July 30th, 2025, the Earth shook very hard. This was not just a little tremor, it was a giant earthquake. The earthquake happened deep in the water near the eastern coast of a country called Russia. Scientists who measure earthquakes said it was a magnitude 8.8. That is an incredibly strong shake, one of the most powerful we have seen in a long time. It was so strong that it was felt far, far away, even though its center was deep beneath the waves of the big Pacific Ocean. Imagine the whole world holding its breath for a moment. That's what it felt like when the news of this huge earthquake spread. The shaking started in a place called the Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia's Far East. This area is used to earthquakes, but this one was different. It was much bigger than usual. The ground rumbled and rolled with incredible force. Because it happened under the sea, scientists knew it could cause another kind of danger. They immediately started to watch the ocean very closely, wondering what would happen next after such a powerful jolt. The power of this earthquake is hard to even think about. It released a massive amount of energy, like many thousands of lightning bolts striking all at once. This energy traveled from the bottom of the sea floor and pushed the water above it. Think of dropping a giant rock into a still pond. The earthquake was like that giant rock, and the Pacific Ocean was the pond. The ripples from that drop don't just stay in one place, they travel outward in every direction. This is why people in countries hundreds or even thousands of miles away had to pay attention. The place where the earthquake happened is part of something called the Ring of Fire. This is a big circle around the Pacific Ocean where many volcanoes and earthquakes happen. The ground there is always moving and shifting. This big shake was a reminder of how powerful nature can be. The people living on the coast of Russia's Far East, especially on the Kuril Islands and the Kamchatka Peninsula, felt the shaking first. They knew right away that they had to be careful. The ground had given them a very loud and clear warning sign. So how can an earthquake under the water cause so much trouble on land? It's because it can create a tsunami. A tsunami is not just one big wave, but a series of giant waves. When a powerful earthquake happens under the ocean, it can push a huge amount of seawater up towards the surface. It's like giving the ocean a giant shove from below. This creates a big bulge of water that then starts to spread out across the ocean, just like the ripples in a pond we talked about earlier. These waves travel very, very fast across the deep ocean. They can move as fast as a jet airplane. Out in the open sea, you might not even notice them because the water is so deep. The waves are very wide and not very tall at that point. But the real danger begins when these fast-moving waves get closer to land. As the ocean floor gets shallower near the coast, the energy of the wave has nowhere to go but up. This causes the water to pile up on itself, making the wave grow much, much taller. This is why tsunamis are so dangerous. A wave that was only a few feet high in the deep ocean can become a wall of water that is 30 feet tall or even taller when it reaches the shore. This powerful surge of water can crash onto the land and travel far inland, much further than a normal wave from a storm. It can knock down buildings, wash away roads, and carry cars and boats with it. It's not just one wave either. A tsunami is often a series of waves that can arrive minutes or even hours apart. After the giant 8.8 magnitude earthquake, scientists knew a tsunami was possible, or even likely. They have special tools and buoys in the ocean that can detect the changes in water level. These tools help them confirm if a tsunami has been created and how big it might be. Once they saw the signs, they had to act fast. They needed to warn everyone who lived near the Pacific Ocean that a series of dangerous waves could be heading their way. Their job was to get the message out as quickly as possible to save lives. Once the scientists were sure a tsunami was coming, they sent out warnings. It was like a giant alarm bell ringing all around the Pacific Ocean. The first places to worry were those closest to the earthquake. Russia's Far East and the northern islands of Japan, like Hokkaido, were on high alert. Soon after the earthquake, the first tsunami waves, thankfully smaller ones to begin with, reached the shores of Russia's Kuril Islands. This was proof that the danger was real, and that bigger waves could be on their way to other places. The warnings didn't stop there. They spread across the vast ocean. A tsunami warning was issued for the state of Alaska in the United States. Farther south, the beautiful islands of Hawaii were also told to prepare for dangerous waves. The warning even reached all the way down to New Zealand. This shows how far the energy from an earthquake can travel. Imagine a message in a bottle floating from Russia all the way to Hawaii or even farther. A tsunami wave is like that, but it's a message of danger and it travels much, much faster. In Japan, the government took the warnings very seriously. They know from past experiences how dangerous tsunamis can be. They issued evacuation advisories for almost 2 million people. That means they told people living in over 220 towns and cities along the coast to move to higher ground immediately. Sirens wailed and announcements were made over loudspeakers, telling everyone to get away from the water. People left their homes and jobs, gathering their families and heading for safety in schools or community centers located on hills. In the United States, officials in Alaska and Hawaii also sprang into action. They used emergency broadcast systems on TV and radio to tell people about the tsunami warning. They closed beaches and harbors and told boats to head out to deeper water where the waves would be less dangerous. In every coastal town, from small fishing villages in Alaska to busy tourist spots in Hawaii, people listened to the authorities. They knew that the best way to stay safe was to follow the instructions and get as far away from the coast as they could until the danger passed. When a tsunami warning is issued, being prepared is the most important thing. The goal is simple: get away from the coast and move to higher ground. In places like Japan and Russia, people who live near the ocean practice what to do. They have evacuation routes marked with signs that point the way to safety. When the real warning came, families knew exactly where to go. They grabbed their emergency kits, which often have water, food, a flashlight, and a first aid kit, and they walked or drove to designated safe zones. The first waves that hit Japan's northern island of Hokkaido and Russia's Kuril Islands were a clear sign that the preparations were necessary. While these first waves caused some localized damage, the evacuations meant that most people were out of harm's way. This shows why listening to warnings is so crucial. A building can be rebuilt, but a life cannot be replaced. The authorities in Russia's Kamchatka region worked hard to move people from low-lying areas, making sure everyone understood the seriousness of the situation. Their quick actions helped prevent a much bigger tragedy. This event is a powerful lesson for everyone, no matter where they live. Natural disasters like earthquakes and tsunamis can happen suddenly. But if we are prepared, we can protect ourselves and our families. Knowing the warning signs is the first step. For a tsunami, a big earthquake is a major sign. Another sign is the ocean suddenly pulling back and exposing the sea floor. If you ever see that happen, you should run to higher ground immediately, because it means a big wave is likely on its way. In the end, the worldwide effort to share information and warn people saved countless lives. From the scientists who detected the quake to the emergency workers who sounded the sirens, everyone worked together. The giant earthquake of July 30th, 2025, was a scary reminder of nature's power. But the response from people in Japan, Russia, the United States, and other countries was a hopeful reminder of our ability to work together, stay calm, and keep each other safe. Being prepared is our best defense against the power of the ocean.